made it to Australia, picked up my van. It's way more beat up than I ever imagined. I also thought it was white and it's silver. I don't know how I messed that up. And I also thought it was a diesel and it's gas. Again, don't know how I messed that up. Should be fine. It's a bed. I can sleep in it. That was the point. Now I'm going to Kmart and I'm going to get the essentials, which is water and food. And then hopefully a SIM card for my phone so I can actually use my phone. That would be cool. So because today's Easter, I don't have cell service. My first attempt at getting cell service has failed. I found a place that's 20 minutes away. They're supposed to be open today. So hopefully I can get into there. I don't know. This is fun. I tried to do this online beforehand, but the cell service provider didn't accept my passport as a form of ID, even though I was entering everything incorrectly. So, update. I went to 7-Eleven. I got an energy drink, and I got a bottle of water. The problem is, everything is closed on Easter Sunday, which is today. So I can't get like toothpaste or sunscreen or any of the stuff that I actually need. But I guess I will figure that out tomorrow. First hike, it's in Royal National Park. It's only like 3 miles. It's right outside of Sydney, but we'll see how it is. It looked fun on the map, so that's what I'm shooting for. I just tripped. Oh man, what an eventful 1.6 miles that's been so far, because I got to the end of where all trails said to go, which was that little swimming hole that was infested with people. The hike has been pretty fun so far, but at one point I slipped and fell, and it wasn't really a big deal. I got some scratches and whatever. But I get to that water spot, and I pull my phone out. The entire screen is shattered now. Rough start, but I found a little sign that said another 1.5 kilometers or whatever to some waterfall, and I figured, seems neat. It looks like on the map I might be able to loop it. This tree is interesting. Hang on. It's an interesting looking tree. But thankfully the phone still works. I might try to get it fixed while I'm here. I might not. I don't know. It depends on how much it'll cost in comparison to at home. But so far, other than that, having a great time. Robert stops and looks at interesting plants today. This tree is super weird. This guy. Huge. Next stop is the Drawing Room Rocks. which seems like fun. It's like a 1.2 mile hike. AllTrails says it'll take an hour. Sunset's in 50 minutes, so hopefully it doesn't take a whole hour, but it should be fun. Well, this was worth it. What a view. It took a little while, but I finally found a campsite. It's like 8 o'clock at night, and I am gonna pass out for the foreseeable future. Good morning, everybody. We're going to another national park. Who'd have guessed? Also, I forgot to add that last night the van got a new emoji on its dashboard, but we're gonna ignore that, I think. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Not my van, right? Right. Sad. I mean, the view's still good. It's just slightly less good, right? I'll take it. That bird looks cool. He's very red. There's another one. That waterfall was super cool. This is totally worth the 10-minute detour to get here. I've seen quite a few of these little mounds around, and that might have even been in some of the little videos that I've taken. Turns out those are termite mounds. Fun. I got the most Australian souvenir that I possibly could, and I didn't even plan on getting this. A boomerang. I'm on the drive to the next hike. Hopefully, can actually get some food today, and other things that we need. I don't think Kmart sells groceries. There was also a Woolworths, so we got some bread, other bread, cake thing, toothpaste, all the fun stuff. Gonna go get some lunch from a deli. I had the option to parallel park. It was intimidating because I'm on the wrong side of the car, so I just didn't do it. breakfast burger thing. Slapped. 10 out of 10. The road to get to this trail kind of sucks. It's been like this for like 20 minutes now. I thought I looked at everything and I thought they were all paved, but apparently not. That's okay. This is the Pigeon House Trail. Made it back to the van. I think I'm gonna start heading to the campground. There was one other hike that I was thinking about doing today, but by the time I get there, it'll almost be dark and it's supposed to take about 3 hours to do, so I think I'm gonna skip it. Just got some gas and some ice cream. The lady at the counter looked at me like I was crazy, and I don't know why. Made it to the campsite. Many other people are here. I got my fancy little janky, totally not mounted all the way lights hung up. Feeling special. McDonald's is the only thing open this time of day. Hopefully it's good. Also, hello and welcome. It's the next day now. I drove like an hour to get to the next hike that I'm going to do. We're now in the Australian Capital Territory instead of New South Wales, so that's fun. I'm hungry. Doesn't look bad. Hash brown was good. Breakfast sandwich was mediocre. The only thing that was weird about it was they put ketchup on it, which wasn't bad. It's just different. Thank you for coming to my McDonald's review. Update on the McDonald's. It's been like 20 minutes and my stomach hurts very badly now. 0 out of 10 would not recommend. Love that for me. You ready for me to butcher some names? I think this is Mount Nadji National Park, and we're gonna go climb Mount Tennant, which is, I believe, that guy over there. It's like a 8.5 mile, 2,600 feet of elevation gain hike. Should be fun. So there's kangaroos everywhere blocking the trail, and I just kind of turned around because I saw this little thing with information in it. So I'm not really sure what you're supposed to do when you come into contact with kangaroos. So I'm just gonna look at this stuff and hopefully they're gone, I guess. I don't know. Huh. So I decided to go back to the van for a little bit. Because apparently kangaroos are most active at dawn, which I kind of knew that, but we're gonna let them have like 15 minutes to, I don't know, go anywhere else and then maybe come back, because they were everywhere. Like, no matter which direction I looked, there were kangaroos, and I was like, I don't like this. I'm all alone. I don't need this in my life right now. So I drove to a different trailhead. There's the trail.
I'm not really sure what to do about the kangaroo situation. I don't know if I should be worried about them or not. There's no one else here. I saw two guys, and they wandered off in the opposite direction. And there's a little bathroom over there, and I figured that's where they were going, but I've been here for like 10 minutes now, and they didn't come back. So I don't know. I might not do this hike. I don't know. I don't really want to have problems with kangaroos. I don't know if I'm being over cautious about it. All right. So I sat here for like, I don't know, 10 minutes. I had some snacks. Probably no one else is going to show up is kind of how I feel right now. So what I'm thinking is that I'm going to go back to that visitor center where the other trail was. I'm going to wait till 9. I'm going to go in there. And then I'm going to hang out for a bit, ask them about kangaroos. And then the park does look cool though. Don't let my fear of kangaroos dissuade you. Turns out I was overly concerned about the kangaroos. Apparently they've never had an incident in this park about a kangaroo attacking anyone or anything, so that's good. But I'd rather find out the easy way than the hard way, right? So now it's time for take number 2, Mount Tennant. 2.5 whole hours later. Wait until this minute Mount Tennant. It's too bad this little tower isn't open. That'd be a cool view from the top, but yeah. Now, I could be wrong, but that should be the capital of Australia, which is Canberra, because we are in the capital territory after all. I didn't even notice this till now, but I'm 92.6% sure that that's the visitor center right there. Made it back to the van, and I got a can of bug spray from the visitor center. Very expensive, $17, which is like $11 maybe in America bucks. I don't know. The conversion's hard. I've just been doing 0.6. I don't even know if that's right. It doesn't really matter because it's not going to change what I buy and what I do. So the other hike I planned on doing today, it takes about 3 hours, and with the drive, I've got about 4 hours.
and I'm very hungry. So I'm gonna go get food. My phone isn't working because I don't have very good cell service, but I'll find something. Three things. 1, kebab amazing. 2, check engine light's gone. And 3, I just made it to the Square Rock Trailhead. Let's go. Trail's a bit muddy. Made it back to the van, but check out these birds. They're neat. Just found a campsite, stopped for gas. I've made it a rule just to get gas every day, so that way I never get in a weird situation where I'm almost out of gas. So I've never seen it get below like a half tank so far. But our campsite's like 20 minutes away, and then tomorrow morning I got like a hour and 45-minute drive for a very special night. So this little hotel thing / restaurant has a place where they let people camp behind it. And they have showers that are $5, but the credit card is a $10 minimum. So I got a cider. On our way to go get breakfast and then hit our next hike. It's a bit foggy this morning, which is interesting. Alright, so this is the start of the hike to the tallest mountain in Australia. Sort of. There's 2 lists. There's one in Indonesia that's technically the highest mountain on the continent. But another list says that this is the highest one, and the other one costs like $40,000 to climb. So we're going to do this one instead for now, and maybe save the other one for last of the 7 summits, even though there's 7 summits basically. Oh, and it's a loop trail that I can do, but I might not do the whole loop if the weather is still garbage by the time I make it to the top. tallest mountain in Australia. A fun detour because there's construction. Made it back to the van, very cold, trying to warm up my fingers. Yeah, so I took the way back that I went up because it was an hour shorter, but now I have the problem of, I thought this hike was going to take 7 hours and it took 3.5. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do for the rest of the day, but I'll find something, it'll be great. So I just Googled it, and apparently the first hike for tomorrow is a 5-hour drive from where I'm at right now. So I don't remember it being that long, but I guess that's what I'm going to do for today. I'll get a good head start on that drive and get dinner and see if there's anything else cool to see along the way. This road is the only time on this entire trip that I've thought, oh man, wish I had my Miata or the Corvette or anything. It's such a good road. And there's no cars on it. It's insane. And it's super long. There was a little rest stop, so I stopped and took a bathroom break. But man, my feet and my legs, they are sore. Construction. Oof. I get my picture next to the sign, right? We officially made it to Victoria. Bye, New South Wales. We'll be back, don't worry. Absolutely insane. I dislike so strongly that I'm in a van right now because it would be so much fun in anything even somewhat resembling a sports car. Turns out Waze sucks in Australia, so last night I had to drive an extra hour and a half to get to where I'm at now, but whatever, that's fine, we don't worry about that. So I stayed at a campsite, and now I got a bacon, egg, and cheese pie and a sausage roll. The bacon and egg pie was okay. Not bad, just not the best thing I've ever had. And then the sausage is definitely my favorite of the two. It was very good. Now I'm gonna go try to get gas, because neither one of the gas stations open up till 7:30, and we have gas, but looking at the map, I mean, there's not another gas station for like 100 miles, so I don't think we have that much. For reference, it's 7 o'clock right now. There's one kind of self-pay thing that they have here, but it's broken because... So, looks like we're gonna have to wait. I came by here last night, and on the premium pump it says out of order, so I assumed they were all out of order, but I figured I'd give it another shot. And they're not all out of order, but the payment thing is broken, so. Got gas, finally. It's been 126 Australian dollars. And now I'm gonna go do a hike in the Alpine National Park. The fog is insane. Like, there's a car not more than a few hundred feet ahead of me. And you can't even see him anymore. This is the weather at the trail. There's actually a lot of cars here, which is interesting. Weather is garbage. I don't know if I really want to go do this hike, because it's like 15 miles and 3,000 feet of elevation gain, especially if I'm just going to be at the top in a cloud. So I'm going to look at the weather, maybe chill here, watch Netflix for like 30 minutes, and see where I'm at. Made a decision. I'm going to watch an episode of the TV show I've been watching on Netflix. And if the weather is still bad, by the time I'm done, I'm just going to skip this trail and go to the next one. So after like 30 minutes, it still looks like crap. So I might come back tomorrow. I don't know if I want to redo the drive or not. So we'll play it by ear. But our next stop's supposed to be Mount Buffalo National Park, which is about 70 kilometers away from here, which is like, I don't know, like 45 miles. So hopefully 45 miles away, the weather's a bit better. Good part is there's plenty of time to stop and do some sightseeing. Now that I'm down from the top, the view's better. You may have heard the kid going, "Bah!" He was just doing that for fun. He wasn't hurt or anything. And some kid did fall down and hurt himself, and he was like hysterically crying, and the kid ran up to him and just goes, "Ah!" and then walked away. It was amazing. Over there is the Horn. I'm supposed to be climbing up these rocks that I'm on here, but the view is definitely better. Now you get almost 360. If I decide to go up that one, maybe we'll get a full 360. I don't know. For being a little 1 mile long hike, it's got some good views, let me tell you. I picked this trail because I like its name and for no other reason. Not doing the Alpine Park today was kind of a wrench in my plans, but that's okay. I think I might go tomorrow. I'm kind of torn on it because I'm worried that I'm going to waste all that time waiting here for tomorrow only to discover that it's going to be rainy and cloudy and crappy again. But I don't know. Found it. Be careful, you don't want to end up with a breakdancing guy.
Gotta go get some dinner. Truck. I feel like I'm back in Utah. And a Ram. Definitely back in Utah. So that food was amazing. I had a little bit of trouble finding a campsite because it was a little bit too late to go to one of the ones that you have to pay for. And there weren't very many of the free ones around, so I went like 5 minutes out of the way for tomorrow. And I found one that's decent enough. Good stuff. A little close to the main road, but that'll probably quiet down as soon as it gets dark. So, campsite update. Some people decided to just like park right next to me, and then they got out, and now they're playing the guitar, which is very annoying when you're trying to sleep. So, they suck. Oh, they're singing now. Great. This is the worst concert. I don't even want to go. Why? Why are you doing this? Good morning, everyone. On our way to our hike. It's a little foggy down here, but up high the weather looks pretty good, so hopefully that means good things for our hike today. I stopped at a little scenic overlook on the way. Looks like we got ourselves another scenic overlook. This one's called Sullivan's Lookout. I think that mountain, or maybe that mountain, probably that one is what we're climbing today. Just made it to the trailhead. Looks like if I had something four-wheel drive and more capable, I could save myself like a mile of hiking, but whatever. I'm gonna have some breakfast, which is a muffin, and then start hiking. This should be probably the hardest hike of the entire trip because it is 10 miles round trip and 4,800 vertical feet, which is a lot, but it'll be fun. Apparently, the Australian government's trying to tell me that I can make better life decisions for breakfast. Yeah. All right, let's go. I'm not thinking that the van would have crossed this creek happily. If I was back home with the Touareg, would have been easy. Little lizard guys everywhere. Stopped for a little snack because I was very hungry. Pretty good views. Finally above the tree line. So that's nice. We're at 3,900 feet climbed. Pretty slow today. But I'm tired, so just another 600 feet to go. I've been bamboozled. I thought that was the summit. It's actually over there. I thought I was close. So I got a ways to go. The clouds moving in and around is kind of cool. That was all clear like a minute ago, and now it's cloudy and perfectly sunny over there. Anyway, so this is the summit of Mount
Bogong. I don't know if I'm saying that right. B-O-G-O-N-G. You make your own decision on how that's pronounced. Ironically, and I didn't know this until either today or yesterday, I don't remember when I found it out, this is the highest mountain in the Australian state of Victoria, which sounds like something I would do intentionally, but I didn't. It's a good hike. Enjoying the views. Extremely difficult to get up here. Very steep, but totally worth it. The clouds coming in is a cool effect. The amount of lizards on this trail is insane. I see one every like 5 seconds. I was also informed that there, at some point, was a yellow-bellied black snake on the way. And I know what you're thinking. Black snakes? Those aren't venomous. Oh, not in Australia. So, I've got that to look forward. The lady showed me a video. It's probably 7 feet long. Super excited about it. So I'm back on the road portion, right? My first thought was, are these mine? They are not. Made it back to the van. That was a pretty hard one, considering how much hiking I've been doing. Also, something funny, look how long this shifter throw is. Like, it's like a whole foot. Just got on the highway and I got a Mountain Dew, 2 Turkish Delights, a Monster for tomorrow, meat pie, and a bunch of gas. Meat pie was okay. Compared to the ones that I got the other day, not great. But for gas station food, pretty good. It feels so nice to be on an actual, like, divided highway. And it's gonna be this way all the way until our next stop, which I'm gonna drive about an hour and then find a campsite. Good morning. Time to get some breakfast from Cafe 41. Fun stuff. A ute. So I walked outside and I see this. We got ourselves a genuine Porsche Beetle. Alright, so this is kind of crazy to me. This is the Organ Pipes National Park. And it's 8:30 in the morning, because that's when they open. Well, it's actually 8:40. And I am the only person here. It's Saturday. What is this? So this is the Organ Pipes. I gotta say, if this is it, the Devil's Post file in California is way cooler. Robert, insert video or picture here. The thing there is called Rotisserie Rock. The viewing platform is closed. I hate to admit it, I'm not that impressed by this park. It looked really cool when I looked it up online, but in real life it's just kind of meh. And then I guess this is the tessellated pavement, which is, I guess, some of those basalt rocks that just kind of formed near the ground. It's interesting, don't get me wrong, but, you know, it's okay. This tree is gigantic. Me for scale. Huge. Made it back to the van. Next stop is a thing called the 12 Apostles, but I'm gonna take the more scenic drive, which takes an extra half hour, so hopefully there will be a bunch of cool stops along the way. Took a 20-minute detour to try to see, air quotes, Australia's most significant lighthouse. But that didn't work out so well. I was hoping I'd just be able to see it from the road, but not the case. As a consolation prize, there's what it looks like. Alright, it's getting pretty dark, but there's one more lookout. And it looks real close to the road, so I think I'm gonna grab a couple pictures if it's cool. Update, totally worth the stop. I'm about to step in some cold water, but, ooh, yeah, that's cold. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Heck, even the view in the other direction isn't so bad. That was by far the most expensive meal I've had on this entire trip, but it was also definitely worth it. It was amazing. I'm not sure what those things are, but I'm pretty sure tonight's gonna be one of those AirPods with noise cancellation and type of nights. It's really cool looking. It's pretty cold. I'm not really sure what else there is to do here. I mean, that's the thing, right? So, I'm glad I saw it. It's very nice. Take more pictures. Secretly, I think this is the best angle on us before you ever even get to the little boardwalk overlook. It took a little while to get the food, so I decided I couldn't wait, so I started eating my muffin. One of the best muffins I've ever had in my entire life. Banana chocolate chip. And it just came out of the oven. Oh, I've never had a banana chocolate chip muffin before. It has like chunks of banana inside. It's great. They call this a bacon and egg roll, which is really just a bacon and egg sandwich. But, you know, it's a roll, mate. Also amazing. I like this place. It's called the Grassroots Deli Cafe, I think. I don't know. Here's a video of the side.
got to this trailhead and it was sunny. Now that I've been here for 2 minutes while I put my shoes on, it's raining. The rain is following me and it needs to stop. I waited like 10 minutes and the rain stopped, so 10 out of 10, worth the wait. This is the summit of Mount Sturgeon. Took an hour to get here. Not too bad. The weather cannot make up its mind. I'm either sweating because I'm wearing a rain jacket, or cold because it's raining on me and I'm not wearing a rain jacket. And anytime I take it on or off, it starts or stops raining. It's amazing. This was cool, so I decided to stop on the side of the road and get a video. So I saw a sign for Mount William. It's a 4-kilometer hike from the parking lot, and it's a paved road the entire way. But because I didn't have enough time to do any of the other hikes I wanted to do, it seems like a fun one. I just left the car, but like, already looks so cool. Made it to the summit. There's a building up here. There's some directions, and there's a plaque. Oh, plaque part 2. It's a little while ago. Now for the most important part, the view. We got some cliffs, a whole mountain range, more cliffs, power lines, a little rainstorm. Some good stuff. Good stuff. These little warning signs always crack me up. Like, where the hell's there water? On top of a mountain. I guess if I go down there, I could drown. I'm sorry. I can't get over how cool this is. Why did no one tell me that Australia had such cool stuff? Thought it was all snakes and desert. What the heck is this? I don't care if anybody's tired of seeing all these mountains. You're gonna see them again. And you'll probably see them again. Let the record show. This was the very first time I tried to get into the passenger side of the van to go drive away. Almost did it. Didn't hit the door handle. Looked at myself and was like, oh no. What a goon. Life update. Paid for a campground because nice showers and all that. Wasn't that expensive. But I tried to walk to the passenger side of the van again. I stopped myself, but I almost did it. I don't know what's up with that. All of a sudden I'm like, nope. We drive on the left. Just out trying to get dinner. There's a kangaroo. Also this cool old MG. Alright, so it's 7 a.m. I took not 1, but 2 glorious showers at that campground. It's been a little bit harder to get into campgrounds than I thought it would be, just because they always close at like 5 and I don't want to book anything in advance because I don't know where I'm going to be. But I just made it to the start of this hiking trail. There's no restaurants open for breakfast, and I'm not really that hungry anyway, so I'm going to snack on a muffin and then I'm gonna hit the road.
On the internet, for the reviews of this trail, it's a hotly debated topic if you go clockwise or counterclockwise. I like the idea of clockwise, which is the way I'm going, because it has all of the steep uphill first, and then it's a more gradual downhill, which should help my knees a little bit, because my left knee is kind of bothering me. The amount of noise the birds make here is insane. Of course, they'd stop whenever I... I've never seen stairs like these in a park before. They're interesting. That's where I ate dinner last night. Parked right there. So that bit's called the Pinnacle. Cool. And now we're off to the Grand Canyon. But probably not that one. This side of the Grand Canyon is closed, but we can still make it in. Just adds a little bit of distance because we got to go around and back in. That's fine. Also, a new sign. Well, this certainly is canyon, but I'm not so sure about the grand part. I mean, it's okay. They should rename it the OK Canyon. Just, you know, grand writes a check that it just doesn't gash. The water's a really cool color. Brown. I don't know. Maybe we could call it the It Has a Nice Personality, I Swear Canyon. I'm joking, but compared to the rest of the hike, this isn't that great. And I'm standing on a sketchy rock. I said it was in my best interest to get to a better rock before continuing. Yeah, it's worth a little spur. Just not that cool. I got hyped up because it said Grand Canyon. In my head, I had an expectation. The rest of the hike has been amazing though, so I can't complain. Just made it back to the car and then drove like 45 feet. And now I'm gonna go get some lunch real quick because I am starving and a burger sounds great. And then I'm gonna go climb Mount Rosa. I've been trying to be good and staying away from sweets and stuff, but I walked past the ice cream place and I really wanted it, so I got one. Normally I wait till the end of the hike to appreciate all the views and stuff, and I never stop at the little side trails. But with the weather, I mean, there might not be anything to see at the top. You gotta take it when you can get it, right? My legs hurt. I'm tired. I'm having fun, but I'm tired. It took me like 10 minutes of convincing myself to get out and start hiking this hike. Well, this is the summit of Mount Rosa. Weather does, in fact, look to be subpar. I kept telling myself the whole way up, I was like, it'll clear up, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. It did not. It was a good hike. Really cool. I mean, some scenery at the end would have been cooler too, but you know, you make do with what you got. 10 out of 10. Well, this is interesting. I step here. This is very slippery on the way down. A bunch of people I talked to have mentioned seeing emus. I finally saw one. Great. Also, I finished that hike and then I drove to Mackenzie Falls, and now I'm going to do that hike. It's like 15 minutes long. It's really short. But emu. New one. Made it to the campground. The internet said it had cell service, but I only have one bar. I was hoping to get on the computer and get some stuff done tonight, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I made the decision to change spots because the ground where I was at was very soft, and I figured if it rained in the middle of the night, could be problematic. So this is much more grassy and firm. So hopefully we don't get stuck. I don't think we will, but you know, these roads are interesting. I've been on a bunch of them, but I haven't taken a video. But basically what you do is if a car comes, you both drive on the dirt with one wheel and on the road with the other wheel, like it's happening here in a minute. It's interesting. Just got some gas in this tiny town. Gonna go grab some water and energy drinks from a little grocery store and then hopefully get some breakfast. The good old bacon, egg, and cheese that they put on hamburger buns for some reason. I got 2 of them. Hopefully they're good. I also got this candy bar. I'll show you more in a minute. Breakfast was good. I don't know about this guy. This doggo was sad. Poor doggo.
It's way different than I thought it would be. It's like way peanut butterier and chocolatier and chewier. It tastes like something else that I've had before, but I don't know what it is. I'll get back to you if I remember. But it's pretty good. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Get a summer roll if you're ever in Australia. I kind of missed it. That was the sign for welcome to South Australia. So our third Australian state. Exciting. I just made it to the Caves National Park and noticed something strange. It's 9:02, and at home it's 5:32, which means this is a plus 30-minute time zone. What a strange thing. So that cave was cool. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's filled with lots of fossils spanning 300,000 years. They found like over 250 species of fossils in there, and like pulled out like thousands of animals worth, and including like stuff that still exists today. Like they found gray and red kangaroos from 300,000 years ago, but they still just run around everywhere today. Super interesting. Yeah, enjoy these pictures. First, this is some Renault, and it says Bose on the side of it. That's funny. Kangaroo.
Wait, I thought it was the monoceros. He just cuddled him with the tree. That is so impressive that he can like.
Oh, it's a dingo. Looks just like a steely dog. I'm not over how dingoes here just kind of look like dogs compared to the ones in Africa. It's a bandicoot. He seems worried. These little guys are my favorite. I can't remember what they're called. But like this is them full size. They're like the size of rabbits. But they're kangaroos. It's funny, the lady on the cave tour today was talking about them. I was like, yeah, you'll never see them in the wild. And while this isn't the wild, at least I got to see them. There's a baby in there.
Baby snakes.
Yeah, a little bit poisonous, not.
I got my magnet. Finally. Shockingly cheap for, you know, a touristy place. Also, for most dinners and lunches and everything else that I've been getting, and breakfast and whatever, I've had a very easy time choosing, because it's always just like, oh, I'm in a small town, there's 4 restaurants, which one's rated the highest? It doesn't even matter what type of food it is. Whatever, we'll just go to that one. But now I'm in an actual city, so I have to make a choice. And I think I've chosen fried chicken. I have it GPS'd, but if I find anything else good along the way, I might stop somewhere else. Adelaide looks nice. For driving right-hand drive downtown, well, not downtown, but through a relatively large city in rush hour traffic, it wasn't that bad. It's pretty chill. I like Australian drivers for the most part. Some of them drive incredibly slow, but other than that, I don't really have any complaints. He looks good. He didn't give me a fork, but that's okay. It's very tasty and extremely hot. I will update. I went back and got a fork. Super good. I don't know what these are. From the picture, I thought they were like French fries, but now that I'm eating them, they're like soft. They almost taste kind of cheesy. I don't know, but I like it. The fork is not great. Chicken was good. It seems like no matter what I do, I end up eating some sort of different cultural food here. It's interesting. Like, I just looked for fried chicken because I wanted fried chicken, and I ended up with South Korean food. So, like, I don't know. I'm not complaining. It's great. Having a great time in terms of food and hiking. Driving in the van kind of sucks, but we'll ignore that part. I'm gonna head off to the campsite for tonight, and then tomorrow we're gonna go to Mount Remarkable. Hopefully it's remarkable. This is by far the most American gas station I've seen in Australia. It's gigantic for their standards. It's like love-sized for our standards. There was just a dead kangaroo on the trail, a little like baby one. I don't know what would kill a kangaroo, but I'm kind of worried about it. I don't know. Interesting. The hike's really cool, other than that small detail, but this trail has a ton of spider webs on it. I don't know if I'm a big fan of that or not. Looks like we've got a friend. Our friend has a friend. Probably not those narrows.
That's the whole loop completed. All I have to do is go back up the 20 flights of stairs or whatever. For the amount of effort it took to get here, this trail wasn't that great. It was like half road, which I kind of knew about. And then the canyon was wet and spider infested and not particularly exciting. And then the main attraction, the Narrows, was like 25 feet long maybe. And it was filled with people. I should have did that first. That was a mistake, but you know, Mount Remarkable, more like Mount Slightly Unremarkable. Am I right? Still having a good time back to the van. Right as soon as I hit mile 6. Pretty slow pace, but you know. At a scenic overlook because it's scenic and it overlooks. Very pretty place. I'm supposed to go to another national park today, but it looks like by the time I get there, I'll be pushing it to do one hike. And it's an additional 3 hours of driving just to get there and then back to where I'm going next. So I think I'm just going to spend the rest of the day driving to where I'm going next, and hopefully I will find some cool stuff to stop and see along. Of snacks to take home. I think I'm gonna stop and get pizza in the next town because I haven't had pizza here yet, and I bet you it's probably good like everything else is. We're in Victoria again, very briefly, but we'll be here for a little bit. I think we're actually spending the night here, but still. The sky looks pretty. That's all nice. Just made it to the campsite, and yeah, I'm pretty close to where I'm going tomorrow morning, so that's nice. Good morning. I got myself up before sunrise to go see some Pink Lakes. Just 6 miles on this road and we'll be there. That sign that I'm always late to get a picture of, or video, says we're now in the Murray Sunset National Park, which is where the Pink Lakes live. So this used to be a salt mine at some point, and there's some of the old mining equipment. Salt. There's a hiking trail through here that, you know, just kind of wanders around all the lakes. And it seems interesting, but I don't know, I'm not thought about it. But this lake, there's no road that gets to it. This is part of that hiking trail. So my plan is to hurry up and get over there so I can get a cool picture and also see the sunrise above the lake, because I think that'd be neat. And it's the only one that you could see from the west side of the lake. So it's the only one that'll have the sunrise above it. Well, this is already kind of worth it, and I haven't even made it to the lake yet. I'm now realizing the lake is really far away. My toes are cold. I wasn't ready for a walk. Well, as it turns out, this was like damn near a mile, but that's okay. I wish I would have put shoes on, but other than that, it's great. Also, the sand is super soft. The sand is now pink salt. That's so interesting. The water looks so much deeper than it is. There isn't any. Like, it's just... What a cool thing.
thinking that I go head back to the van and warm up, but this is like super duper cool. And there's 2 more of these lakes that you can drive to. So obviously we're gonna go look at all of them, even though they're totally probably gonna be the same thing as this. One of the other lakes, you can see it from over here. It's a lot bigger. This is the bigger lake. It's interesting. We've seen the other 2 lakes, so now there's just one left. It's called Lake Backing. And we're gonna have a nice look at it. This one could be the pinkest of all. The salt is a lot softer on this one. Alright, that was our last stop in Victoria, and what I thought was about to be a short drive ends up, it's going to be about 3 hours to Mungo National Park. It looks really close on the map. Apparently not the case in real life. Should be fun, don't worry. It's the other side of the lake from this morning. We were all the way over there. Turns out I could have driven to this lake, but still the wrong way for the sunrise, and the sunrise was super cool, so I can't. Why are the lakes pink? It's because of bacteria, but more importantly, they mined for salt here until 1979, per the little sign that I'm looking at. So I went to the bakery and just bought a ton of stuff, so I got a sausage roll, a beef and something pie, an egg and something pie. I don't know. I'll let you know how each thing goes. Sausage roll first. Oh. Pretty good. Next up, the beef and egg and whatever the heck pie. I guess there's no egg in this one. Beef and bacon and cheese. Pretty good. Still like the sausage rolls more, I think. Oh, wow, that was really good. Last but not least, the good old bacon, egg, and cheese breakfast roll. A classic. Actually, it's really, really good. Best one I've had, for sure. I decided while I was in this town, I'd stock up and get some water, because I am basically out. I got some beef jerky and a bunch of candy to bring back with me. A bunch of Turkish Delights. I love Turkish Delight. And a twirl. I'm gonna use these for like hiking snacks at home if I can cram them all in my bag. I was supposed to go to the next stop, but I made it like, I don't know, a mile down the road and saw a sign for this and got very interested. It looks tiny, but I'm interested in it. The Sandman. That was an interesting stop. It was small, but it was neat. I learned things about Holdens. I should have bought a Holden before I came here. I thought about it, but I didn't know how that was going to work. I was going to go in those 25 years old so I could bring it home, but couldn't really find too many that I actually liked. So I don't know. Next time. Get the phone out in time, but a Mustang just drove by me on this road. That makes me incredibly happy. Look at this road, it's horrible. That's amazing. That would have been me if I rented a Mustang for sure. On our next episode of insane stuff I've seen on this road, I just saw a man riding a bicycle. So there's that. That's a thing. It's gotten a lot worse. It's a lot funny. Going a lot slower, which is disappointing. It wasn't too bad at first. This landscape makes me feel like I'm about to see a giraffe any second. We have made it to the park. There's a visitor center, so we're gonna go there next. But, you know.
So this place is really cool. It's the oldest place on Earth that they found human remains except for Africa. And they have tours, so I'm gonna go do one of those. So this all used to be a lake that started to dry up around 40,000 years ago, but it was still around at least 20,000 years ago per the signs. But this is where the oldest remains of a cremated person ever were found. They cremated what they call Mungo woman 45,000 years ago, which I think is very interesting. I just found this place because I was looking around at national parks and I saw some cool rock formations here, and I was like, yep, that sounds cool. I'm there. I'll go. And yeah, it turns out there's a ton of really cool history about it. I will hopefully give a very good Cliff Notes version of whatever tour that I'm about to go on, and hopefully have some cool videos of rocks and stuff to go along with it. The tour was cool. I'll add some pictures and videos in here while I talk, but it didn't really give you any new information. It just kind of went over the same stuff, but showed you some bones and some neat sand formations, that kind of stuff. It took entirely too long. It was such a slow-paced thing. It took 2 hours, and it should have taken an hour. I'm glad I did it, but it was okay. This whole park, it's super cool on paper, but when you're actually here, it's not actually that cool. I'm glad I went, because I learned a whole lot of really cool stuff. But it's the type of place that if you read about it, you would think it's just as cool. Anyway, I have a 9-hour and 40-minute drive, so that's going to be fun. You're not supposed to drive at night in Australia because of wildlife, and I've done a pretty good job of avoiding it for the most part. I think today might be the exception. I think I'm going to just go for it. I think I'm supposed to be there at 11 o'clock at night. I think it's dark at 6. Update, I was wrong. I'm supposed to be there at 2 a.m. I don't know if I'm going to make it the whole way.
Keep right at the fork.
And 2 hours, 6 minutes after we left the park, we are now on paved roads. That sucks.
Turn right.
So the new issue, there was a gas station 62 kilometers away, which, that's probably fine, right? But that road's closed. So the next closest gas station's next closest town's 120 kilometers away. I don't even know if it has a gas station. So I don't know if that's going to be enough gas. I'm going to drive slowly to try to conserve fuel and make sure we make it there. But, yeah, that's not fun. Hopefully this works out. So the closest gas station is 70 miles away. It's also in the wrong direction, but I don't really see any other choice. I stopped on the side of the road because I finally got cell service. So I'm going to go that way. Supposedly it closes and it doesn't open till 8 o'clock tomorrow, so hopefully they have a credit card machine. If not, I guess I'm spending the night somewhere near there.
Continue for 20 kilometers.
I don't really know what to do. It's not, the fuel light isn't on yet, which makes me feel better, but I'm still very worried about it. So I honestly don't know what to do. I am kind of freaking out right now. I decided to go with the original plan and just GPS it towards the hiking trail. That way showed gas 120 miles away whenever I originally looked. But we just got the fuel light. Hopefully we make it to a main road before we run out of gas. That's all I want at this point, because then I can at least sort it out easier. We're back on paved roads again. It's been 4 hours and 45 minutes already. Fuel situation is not looking good. I'm not really sure how fast to drive, because the faster I go, the faster I use fuel, but also, I'm gonna run out anyway, so I don't really know. Per Google Maps, the closest gas station is 70 kilometers away, which is 45 miles, and we've gone about 50 miles since the fuel light has come on, so unless this is the world's longest fuel light, I don't have high hopes. I will continue to drive between 35 and 45 miles per hour, and if I make it, great. If I don't, not great. Update, Google Maps wants me to take a dirt road again. And I know that I'm going to run out of gas, and I don't want to do it on a dirt road. So I think what I'm going to do is go GPS towards the other gas station that's 60 miles away and see where that lands me. I decided to go for the gas station that's south of here, so let's hope that the Hyundai iLoad has 113 miles of range past the fuel light coming on. The sign for a town that I passed said that it had gas, so I turned off the main road and cannot find any gas stations. I googled it, I looked on the map and everything. There just isn't one. I don't know why the sign says that there is. 80 more kilometers to go, which is 50 miles. So good luck, everybody. Well, that's it. We are 34 kilometers away from the gas station. So close, but so far. If there's only one good thing that came from this, it's that I got some cool pictures of the stars. So that's something. Not gonna lie, I feel like now that I've actually run out of gas and I have absolutely no idea what to do, I'm way more calm. Because it's not like impending doom. It's morning. We're still stuck here. A couple cars drove by. None of them wanted to stop, which I can't really blame them. I don't know if I would have stopped either, but maybe I would have. I don't know. It looks like there's a car off in the distance, so hopefully that works. I'm going to try to walk around and see if I get a little bit better cell service, and I'm just going to call the police and ask them what to do. I get a call through to the police, and they said that they're going to have somebody on their way, so that's good. A man drove by on a truck, and he's like, oh, yeah, petrol or diesel? It's like, petrol. He's like, oh, I got a whole tank of diesel on the back, and then drove off. And I was like, no, we were so close. Although if I was out of diesel, it'd be a whole different issue, because we'd have to bleed the stupid thing, and yeah. I mean, hopefully nothing's wrong with it now that I ran out of gas, but it should be fine. Where was this? Last night, like 3-4 cars drove by, didn't even slow down. Today, every single car that's driven by has stopped, and we're like, are you okay? 3 for 3 people stopping. I mean, at least people are nice, right? Like, what if I couldn't get cell service and I was like trying to walk to the town? Like, at least, yeah, it's nice that people are nice. We'll go with that. I'd like to update this with the one guy that didn't stop, just drove by, and he had a dirt bike in the back of his truck, which means that he probably actually had gas with him. Which, I mean, like, I don't expect somebody to just give me gas. I don't really know how that repayment would work, because I don't have cash, but I would, you know, I don't know. I don't know if they use Venmo here or whatever, but, like, walking up and down the road trying to find better cell service so I could call Chell, because I've been, you know, messaging her once every hour and a half when my phone actually decides to put a message through, and I'd like to let her know that I've contacted the police and that they're on their way, but I've walked quite a ways away from the van in both directions, and I can't seem to get more than 1 bar of 3G, which doesn't seem to work for texting and calling unless it's the police, which is good that works, don't get me wrong. But one thing I forgot to mention in all of these things over the past little bit, it is freezing here, and like, I was driving the entire time, no heat or air conditioning, no radio, nothing, just absolute minimal load that I could come up with. I settled on 40 miles per hour, which is 70 kilometers per hour, or 44 miles, no, yeah, 44 miles per hour, which is 70 kilometers per hour, and I was just cruising at that, like, incredibly slow, just trying to make it work as much as I could. When it ran out of gas, I even coasted like almost a full kilometer on that 40 miles per hour. And then when I got down to like 5, I just, you know, got over on the shoulder, and that's where it sits. But I did everything I could. It just wasn't enough. If I started doing all this earlier, and if I didn't try to go to that town that ended up just being a bunch of closed roads, I still don't think I would have made it, but I might have been like walking distance to where I could have just threw on the headlight last night and sorted this out by just walking in the dark, even though that kind of would have been terrifying based on the amount of animals out here. But had another guy stop, ask if I was all right. Everybody except for the guy with the motorcycle in the back
The one guy that probably could have helped me has stopped.
To be clear, I'm not mad at the motorcycle guy. Like, I get it. It's fine. I don't care. But, like, ah, man, that would have been nice. I don't know how that would work with the police. Like, I mean, if I got better cell service, I guess I'd call 911 again and I don't know. Because it'd be kind of crappy of me to just be like, yeah, see you later, and they show up looking. The guy with the truck that only had diesel went and grabbed a can of gas that had, like, I don't know, a couple liters in it and brought it back and helped me put it in the car. We cut up a Gatorade bottle to use as a funnel. Hopefully this makes it into town. I'm still gonna go really slow until we get there, but 34 kilometers to go. We made it. And we filled up with a lot of gas. Thank you to that one guy. He even followed me most of the way here to make sure that I actually made it. I would have bought him like breakfast or something, but then he turned around as soon as we got into town. Assuming the guy gave me like 3 liters of gas, I got somewhere between 27 and 28 miles per gallon on that tank, which means that for a full-size van, I did really good. I'm going to be really curious to see what the next tank is, because I'm going to drive like normal. But damn, okay. Yeah, I made it, got gas, very happy. Made it 588 miles on that tank, which is quite a bit. It's a 20-gallon tank, so. Regularly scheduled programming. I got a breakfast roll and a banana chocolate chip muffin from a local bakery. Found out that this visitor center for the town has showers in it, so I'm gonna go take a shower because it would be nice, and I can't get anywhere to do anything today anyway, and then I'm just gonna drive for the rest of the day. It is so flat and desolate here. This is the Australia I was expecting. Because I'm getting to where I'm going early, but not so early that I can actually do anything, I've decided that I'm going to stop every single town that my gas gauge isn't on full and get gas, because why not? It seems like a good idea. So I did that a minute, like 10 miles ago, and back on the road. Accidental car stuff seems to be a theme. I was going to get to the hiking trail like an hour before sunset, so I figure, why not go look at some cars in the car museum? Seems like fun. The Japanese hearse. Googled this place really quick and saw a picture of one of these, and it was kind of the whole reason I came here, because these are super interesting to me. It's an old Lincoln Continental. I want one of these. The museum was neat. It was kind of small, but like it had some cool stuff in there, like the hearse that I'd never seen before. Yeah, out of the whole group, I would want to own 2 of the cars, which is the E-Type, only I'd want a Roadster, and the 356, because everybody loves a good 356. Stopped and got gas again, mostly because I have to pee, but you know, take no chances. So I'm genuinely surprised. I drove like 120 miles on that last tank, and this car is getting 31 miles per gallon. Okay. Also, the KFC certainly looked better in the picture than it does in real life, but here we go. It tastes way better than I thought it would have. Not bad. Not bad, KFC. Made it to the campsite. Seems nice. I have to go to this hotel over here and tell them that I'm staying here. But I might go wander around and try to get some dinner of some sort. I'm not that hungry. Thanks to the KFC, of course. I shouldn't have gotten it. I got it. I didn't regret it. It was pretty good. My stomach hurt a little bit for a couple minutes afterwards, but then it kind of got over it. Definitely better than the McDonald's. KFC in other countries never ceases to amaze me. It's always pretty damn good.
So I did some grocery shopping. I got some apple cider. This is amazing, by the way. Probably one of my favorites. We got some chips. We got waffles for breakfast. And then fruit rolls. A banana. And most importantly, some more candy to take home. And the most important, more Turkish delight to take home. Good morning. It's quite early, but there was a little scenic overlook thing of the Warrumbungle, maybe, mountains, which is where we're going today. I thought it'd be nice to stop because it looks pretty cool. I wasn't joking about the name. I don't know how you say that. There are a bunch of signs that say you have to pay the entry fee at the visitor center. Hoping you can do that before hours because I don't think it's going to be open. It's like 6 a.m. And hopefully they have a bathroom because I have to go to the bathroom. Didn't expect to see another patron at the visitor center. The entry fee is a whole $3, but I don't have any cash. So I took their little entry fee envelope and was like, I don't have cash. I will come by the visitor center when you guys are open and pay the fee. Please don't give me a ticket. And the bathrooms were open and they were very nice. So that was good. I'm happy about that. Hopefully they're not mad about my little note. This is like the actual first time not having cash has come up because my plan was to go buy an ATM as soon as I got here. And I just never did because it was never a problem. I did notice a new problem though. That is a staple and it is in the tire. It's still filled with air. I will just keep an eye on that and hope that it does not become an actual problem because I only have 2 days left. Fruit rolls. They get a 4-star health rating, right? The ingredients: apples, pears, strawberries, carrots. What do you have to do to get a 5-star rating? Because it's literally fruit and vegetables. Like, okay. We got our first hike today, the Grand High Tops Circuit. Looks super fun. Excited. It's like 9 miles, 2,600 feet of elevation gain or something like that. Should be fun. Seems to me like it's detour worthy. 450 feet of walking to get a cool overlook. Sign me up. I'm sure I'll see him again later, but like, yeah, pretty good overlook. Oh, there's more hidden behind that tree. Neat. It's the never-ending stairs of doom. They just go and go and go. Hey, an arch. I didn't know I was in Utah. There's the summit. We're at high top. It's very windy, but the views are amazing. Also, I hadn't pointed it out till now, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear me with the wind, but they use these road markers as little blazes for the trail, which is really crafty because if you're, unfortunate enough to be stuck out here in the middle of the night or something, you can, your little headlamp
will make them glow, which I think is pretty cool. And they're very obvious to see, which is also nice. So per the route I've chosen, I'm supposed to go right. But a lady told me that Bluff Mountain was totally worth going to if you had like an extra hour. That's 2 miles round trip, so I don't know if it'll take me a whole hour, but I don't know. It's all the recommendation I need. Oh look, it's the top of Bluff Mountain. I'll get you a better view here in a second. Hang on. Sitting down to take a little break and eat a snack. What's interesting is the wind is blowing from literally every direction. On top of that rock, it was behind me. Now that I'm sitting down next to those rocks, it's in front of me. It just changes its mind. It's very interesting. It's also incredibly windy. And now it's blowing from my right instead of in front of me. Like, also, you know, just in case you were curious, I found these at the gas station. I have no idea if they're good or not, so we'll find out. Mediocre. Some additional notes. Hey, look, it's the Outback. 2, not a cloud in the sky until you get over there. And there's nothing but clouds in the sky. And 3, I like this national park. That's it. Paid my entry fee, got a magnet, and some ice cream, because ice cream is good, and we all like ice cream, and it definitely won't make me sick. Definitely not. That would never happen. Ice cream would never do that. We're back here again, only this time we're doing Fans Horizon. This is a pretty good overlook. It's kind of more views of the same thing, but from a different perspective, and I appreciate that. It's pretty good. It's better than sitting in the car all day just to get to a campsite at 5 p.m. I believe that's where I'm recording. Yeah, because the radio tower is in the background. It's pretty cool. It must be up to the air freshener in this truck is great. So I'm out of water, and I can fill it up at this little water station here in this campground. But the name, interesting.
it, even though I really don't want to, is that taking the paved detour that I'm not even 100% sure is paved adds an hour and 10 minutes to this drive, which is like 30% of the drive, so I don't want to do that. Just stopped, got some gas, a sausage roll, and my fuel economy on this tank was 23 miles per gallon, which is way more in line with what I thought this van should be getting. So, not great, but, you know, it's a van, it's big, and it moves a lot of air. We got another little while to drive, but I'm going to go for another hour or so, and then I'm going to get dinner. Third time. Tried to get into the wrong side of the car. Very funny. This restaurant was amazing. That pulled pork sandwich that I got, absolutely ridiculously good. The mac and cheese was whatever, but the pulled pork sandwich was so good it made up for any shortcomings at all. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Just made it to the campsite. It's kind of weird being the only one here, but, you know. Also, this headlamp that I've got, so bright. It's crazy. Ready? I'll turn it off and just use the phone flash. Crazy. Very foggy this morning. My watch is under the impression that I'm bicycling right now. Interesting. That I'm the first person here today. The glowworm tunnel, because it's a tunnel with glowworms. So even the parking lot of this trail is kind of cool looking. Got cliffs and all that. I believe this used to be an old railroad, and they don't use it anymore, so they turn it into a regular road and a little hiking trail. Because that's how this tunnel is here, I think. I don't remember. Maybe it'll say it on the trail somewhere. It's kind of creepy in here. Here, ready? I'll turn the light off. Alright, I'm pretty much at the other end of the tunnel now. So, I think I'm going to walk back through, but with my light on low, because they say that the light disturbs them and they don't glow. And I saw a few because I would stop and turn off my light, but I didn't see too many of them, so hopefully I will see a big clump of them somewhere with the light turned down. So, yeah, low. I'm not sure if the pictures will do it any justice, or the little video that I took, but that was probably one of the coolest things I've done on this trip. There are so many of them. It's like looking at a night sky, but it's just these blue little dots that are all glowworms. And then you turn your light on and they're all just gone. It's super interesting. I would, if you ever go to Sydney, whoever's watching this, it's like 2 hours away. I would make time to go do it because it's super cool. It's a super easy walk. Nearly anybody could do it. There's like one flight of stairs. That's like the hardest part. Good stuff. There's another route here called Dry Canyon. I was told it was really cool by a guy. And it looks like it's like roped off, which he said it was. But I don't know. I have a bunch of other hikes I can do today, so I don't know if I necessarily want to go on that adventure. There's also nowhere to park, and I'm kind of hungry, so I was going to stop and grab food on my way to the next hike. So I think that's what I'm going to do. An old abandoned train. I thought it was neat, so I stopped to take a picture. Filled with breakfast. Now I'm gonna go hike Porter's Pass. Should be fun. So this trail's only 2.8 miles long, and I'm about 0.4 of a mile in, and I made it to the first overlook. The trail itself kind of sucks. I feel like I just got the whole view from this overlook. So I think what I'm gonna do, because I'm kind of tight on time today anyway, if I want to get everything else hiked that I'd like to do, I think I'm just gonna turn around and head back. If I had more time, I feel like I'd totally finish this loop, but I mean, it's a pretty good view. It's just the whole thing's super overgrown and muddy and so. It's time to go to the Grand Canyon. Not that one. Not even that one. We got a third one. The start of the Grand Canyon hike. It doesn't look like the Arizona desert at all.
Which would definitely invite you to the bike. But yeah, I don't know.
The climb out is gonna be brutal. It's been nothing but stairs the whole way down. Super fun though. I was prepared to be disappointed. This Grand Canyon is much better than the other Grand Canyon. This is kind of blowing my mind. I think this is the part where the 2 breakfast sandwiches for breakfast comes back to haunt me a little bit. Almost back to the car now. There's just a little like flat section next to the road to get back to the parking lot. Sorry if all that was foggy. I was super sweaty and it was super humid, so there was no real way to dry off the camera. But that was really cool, super unexpected. My knees hurt incredibly badly because I ran like the entire way down, but it was worth it. The sign said 3 to 4 hours. I did it in an hour and a half, so that was good, I think. I had a couple more hikes today, hopefully. And yeah, 10 out of 10. I'd recommend this one. Surprised. It may not be this, but it was damn good. Sitting in traffic, but we got 11 people changing a flat tire on the side of the road right now. There was a road on the way to this hike called Gang Gang Street. Love it. Love everything about it. Starting out strong. That was like 15 feet from the road. Australia has said no to switchbacks. They have said stairs for everyone. We don't do steady ascents. We do stairs. Which is interesting and brutal. It's a good thing the views are excellent, because knowing how many stairs I've walked down and subsequently have to go back up is kind of dreadful. The things I do to get these nice videos for you guys. Oh, I just whacked my head on that tree right there. Ow. Alright, just got to what is probably going to be the last trail of the entire trip. Big sad. I was just looking up campsites, and it looks like I need to go backwards a little bit because we're so close to Sydney that there's no good campsites other than the ones that you have to pay for, and all of them are either booked or they won't let me book it for today, which is probably more likely. So I've got a long drive in the morning. It's like an hour and a half into the city, but that's fine. We'll just wake up early and go to bed early. Yeah, should be fun. That breakfast really filled me up. I'm still going. I'm still very full from that. That was hours ago. Also, at some point, my deodorant melted. I was going to put some on. That's interesting. Literally like 2 seconds after I finished making that video, I whacked my head on the rock ceiling. Twice today. Twice. Kind of crazy. This is by far the best view of the falls. I'm not going up to the little overlook on top, but that's pretty good. A cool trail. The crazy part is no one goes past the overlooks. I've seen like 2 people. And before the overlooks, there were hundreds. The views are just crazy. They really love these stairs. And I'm only remembering to take a video of it like 10% of the time. There are so many stairs. And here we have the Breakfast Point overlook. It's the same view, but like, it doesn't get old, does it? The Liebird lookout. There's a waterfall over there. Get ready for the zoom. Water sure do be falling. The route that I picked says to hike down to the top of those falls, but honestly, my legs hurt really bad, and I just want to go get a kebab and then go to sleep, because I'm gonna wake up at like 4 tomorrow, and I'm not gonna go to sleep for I don't even know how long. It's gonna be great.
Not quite as good as the one in Canberra from the beginning of the trip, but like pretty good. Place didn't look like it would taste very good, but it did. Next stop, campsite, and I gotta get everything sort of packed. I need to pack that sleeping bag like first, and I also probably need it to sleep. So I'm gonna get everything ready to get packed in the morning. Filled up for what is probably the last time. Ended up with 21.9 miles per gallon. So yeah, it does not get good gas mileage. Those 2 tanks were an anomaly. One, because I was driving incredibly conservatively, and the second one, I don't know why. I didn't go that far. Maybe that was something to do with it. I don't know. But yep, filled up with gas. All right, so I just got up. We're hitting the road. Got like an hour and 40 minutes till we're in Sydney. I felt a little bad leaving the campsite this morning because there were so many people, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna be that guy. Oh well, I gotta do what I gotta do. 2 things in Sydney I want to see. The first one is an old shipwreck. One is the Opera House, because like you gotta. Finding parking for the shipwreck, more difficult than I thought it would be. I'm a full 10-minute walk away per Google Maps, but should be fine. Tired. It's early. It's still before 6 o'clock in the morning, but I'd rather get to the airport an hour early than an hour late, so that's what we're doing. Boat. This is a pretty good sunrise. And then we get one up close shipwreck. There's a new one. Yes. Don't mind me just taking my struts for a walk. That's a weird one. I just dropped off the van. Now I'm gonna get an Uber to the airport. Using my priority pass finally. Fancy lunches.